All right. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for being here for week 2. Last week, we talked about connection and how to find people, which we can dive back into a little bit of that so we get a little bit more of the graph search. And then this week is going to be all about conversation and what do we actually say. And I think it was Heather that asked the question, when and how do we start talking about the business? And there's Heather right now. So how do we bring that business conversation into the whole project, if you want to call it a project? So again, I want to thank you guys for being here. I appreciate your guys' time. I know that this program does take time and work and effort, but once you get it, it's going to free up so much of your time. Since I've been doing it, there are days that I'm now on Facebook for everything that I do, the entire program for 2 hours, which I used to do within 6 to 7 hours. And this is, maybe spread throughout the day, of course. Sometimes, of course, I'm still on it all day long like I was today, but I had multiple projects. But I've noticed that my typical 6 hours that I used to spend on Facebook really has been condensed to 2 hours. And so I'm like, sometime in the morning, late morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, all my work's done. Now what do I do? And I'm not used to that. I'm used to having a full day of stuff. So it's been really wonderful to see this transition actually take place. But it does take a lot of work right now, getting comfortable with it, getting familiar with it, and actually applying it. But know that your days are coming, and it won't be long if you're not already there. So let's go ahead and start off. How are you guys doing? What kind of questions do you have from last week? How are you guys implementing? What have you begun to do already, and how do you feel about it?
Well, I'll go first if it's okay.
Please go right ahead, Les.
Well, I'm more of a private person, so Stephanie and I have talked about getting out of my comfort zone and make everything public and put in all my details and some of my favorite books and movies and things that normally just a small group of friends would know about me. And it was a little uncomfortable for me, but then I have to remember all the training that I've done and training that I've taken as a student. And of course, all the growth in life is right outside our good old comfort zone that we love to stay in. So I knew that because this was sort of an uncomfortable process for me to reach out and, to just to go full public with everything and try to connect with people from college. And that's a long time ago. And high school is even longer time ago and all these things. It's been a great process for me personally, just kind of cracking that shell, if you will. And then I'm loving the training. You can do it at 3 in the morning if you don't sleep well sometimes like me, or you can do it at 3 in the afternoon. There's really no excuse. So I've been getting through that little by little, and I'm about 80% of the way through it. It makes a lot of sense to me. And it's very exciting, frankly, because you're never without a prospect. You're never without a lead. And it's very exciting. At the same time, I'm kind of knocking myself on the head saying, why didn't I think about this 2 years ago when I thought Facebook was annoying? But to be able to look at it as a tool and as a friend versus, some of the other things that Facebook brings to us, and to be able to be in control of your news feed, control of your time, I'm really getting it. Today was the day that the light bulb went off. So I was excited to share that with the group.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Les. I really appreciate that. And, Les was one who was very skeptical about doing this program and going through the courses and everything. So I really appreciate you really diving in and having the experiences that you are. So continue to let us know. We're going to talk about tracking tonight. And next week, we're going to start tracking numbers. So you guys can really get comfortable with what you're doing is actually giving you results. Because, of course, we want to see those numbers. All right, cool. How's everybody else doing?
Well, so I kind of got a little, I get in my own way. So I got into a little, I tend to put the cart before the horse sometimes. So then I thought, okay, so I don't want to in the first message mention, why aren't you showing up in the group? And because I'm going to target that group of people first in our product page or our product group. so I'm kind of thinking, okay, so if they respond or don't respond, then what's my next step? And I tell people always, don't worry about it, just take the first step, right? But I have to say that got me a little, because I thought if somebody responds positively, I want to steal them in there somehow and make sure, because actually our engagement is, we've really been working on getting more engagement and interaction and everything up, but it's definitely not where I'd love to see it yet. And so that leads me to the next thing, which is, I think you're going to talk about tonight. I really want to get way more direct with, I don't want to do the whole chitty chat, and I get tons of friend requests, and I basically want to say, hey, are you interested in a transformation, a business, or anything else? Because otherwise, bug off, I'm busy, which I'm sure is super friendly, not, but anyway, so that's kind of what's jumbling around for me.
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you, Stephanie, because I think everybody on this call is very similar to you in that regards. And it's get to the punch. Are you interested? Or are you not interested? So there are ways to qualify them to find out if they have an interest, if they don't have an interest. And if you don't have an interest, then great. I look forward to continue watching your posts on Facebook, and you ease yourself out of that conversation, because if there's nothing to talk about, why are we continuing? Right? But we have to do it in a very friendly way. All right, cool, wonderful. Anyone else want to share your experience? Heather, did you want to share?
Yeah, sorry, I had to find the unmute. I did your love notes thing. I sent out trying to do about 10 a day. So I think I sent out about 60 this past week, and the response rate is amazing. People, who I wouldn't have expected to respond. I'm getting 85% just responding to this, saying, thank you so much for thinking of me. There's several people that, said, oh gosh, I really needed that today. Thanks. So I can continue on that conversation with, yeah, I'm here, and a couple of people and I have just set up to go out for drinks and stuff, just to reconnect there. No business at all at this point, but hey, I get to go spend time with some adults.
Right.
And not just with my kids, who I love, but So it's been great to reconnect, and I'm going to keep that up, definitely.
Oh, wonderful. Heather, I'm really happy to hear that. And Heather was one of the rock stars the first time we did the program that really, really took it to heart and went crazy and enrolled. And that's the key with doing all of this. We are doing it for a reason. We're obviously doing it to build our business. And even though we start off kind of slow, if you want to put it that way, and Heather and her partner Fiona were rock stars. I mean, they were, I think it was right around week 2, week 3, maybe it was week 4, where you guys were just rocking and rolling and bringing people in. So that's awesome. And now you're right back in it. That's why I love this program.
And last time, I will say, last time I had a lot of those relationships already built, because that was the first time I'd kind of done that. So now like the question I posed earlier, now that I'm building relationships with some new people, when do you transition to business? Do you, how do you know, what are the clues kind of thing? Because there's more relationship building for me going on beforehand than there was last time.
Excellent. Okay, good. So let's dive into that, because that's actually this week. So you guys it's very organic, and you're feeling the organic of how this works. And that's why I love how Jim has set this up with, you start here, get comfortable, and then you kind of kick in the business, and then you really kick in the business, and then you just repeat, right? Rinse and repeat over and over and over again. I have noticed, just to point this out because we talked about it last time, all the other enrollees that were brought into our product Facebook group, we have noticed an increase in sales. We have noticed an increase in them participating in the group. So even though they're not responding to me whatsoever, we've kicked them into gear. And some do respond, of course, but I've noticed that some don't respond, and they're ordering. It's a fabulous thing. And so Stephanie, kind of going back to what you brought up earlier tonight, don't worry about it. If they don't respond, they don't respond. But a lot of them still do stuff because we get into their head, which is exactly what we want. And independence, of course, is always the best, right? For them to just go do their stuff. All right, great. Okay, guys, if you have any questions or anything, what is the note you are sending that had the 85% response rate? Heather.
Actually, I just took yours, Stephanie, and kind of tweaked it for the situation. I think yours to me said, I'm so glad we get to work together, you know, and the people I've been sending it out to first are people I do know. So they're more likely to respond anyway, but I can post a copy in the group. But it was just basically, you know, was just thinking of you today and wanted to let you know that if you, you know, that I'm here if you need anything, and, you know, so, you know, and just have a great day and hope all is well, you know, just, and left it at that.
Perfect.
The sense I'm getting is that these notes have no expectations in them.
Correct.
And
Right.
they feel like they're supposed to do something, right?
Right.
Got it.
And a lot of people are responding, thank you so much, that's great, hey, let's get together sometime. And that's when I say, okay, you know, let's do that and go have some fun and then see where it goes.
Nice. That's absolutely perfect. And that's it, Stephanie. You don't want to have any intentions, and for a couple of reasons. If you have an intention and you know, if you base it on the words that we're saying here, you're not giving them the intention that you are expecting a response. And so if you walk into it with the intention that you want a response, you're going to be disappointed. And that's where the head stuff really, really starts. So if you walk into it, and it does take some time to do this, or, you know, just really work with yourself, but you walk into it of, all right, great. Whoever responds, I'm just going to give extra love to, or, you know, however that works for you, but no expectations whatsoever, and you'll see that they respond. The other thing, hopefully, that you're noticing already or will soon, is that you're having other people respond, and other people that you're not even connecting with are responding to you and connecting to you. It's the universe. It's how all of this works. Oh my gosh, I told you it's the night before this crazy night. Oh, you did get hit in the head. Okay, whoops. Tell me I got hit in the head today. I guess I did. There's my teacher's note. Nice way to get a phone call. All right, back to business. So, yes. So as far as like these love notes or messages or the different things that we're sending out there right now, try to not go the business direction unless they open the door. And you will find that some will open the door. Some are going to respond, some with just thank you, or a personal message of, hey, how are you? Thanks for thinking of me. I really like that. Others are not going to respond at all. Others are going to respond with, oh yeah, I've needed to order or get back involved or whatever. You know, now that you brought that up, I do have a question. So you just react with whatever direction they lead you. And that's it. And once they open the door, I look to see how wide they opened the door. Did they open it enough for me to suggest something, or did they just have one question that they need answered? Right? And if it's just one question that they need answered, then that's all they wanted to know. Don't go any further. But if they open it up of, hey, I really am really tired and fatigued, and I really do need some help, that's when we need to ask them, would you like to get on a phone call so we can come up with a solution for you? And I think that's when they really open the door, right?
Question.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, Sherry.
Okay, so I'm adding leads into a product page group, and our normal protocol is to follow up within 24 to 48 hours. How would you approach that? Would you, I don't know. It's like, how would you approach that as far as, would you just keep it real light and friendly and wanting to get to know them? Or are your intentions going to be to, ask what their health goals are and review what you have to offer them and find a solution for them?
So this is a nutrition group, not dealing with your business at all. It's just
No, this is with the business.
oh, it's with the business. Okay. So they are a part of your product page.
They're just people that I've met that I put into my product page, and then I'm following up. So I just kind of want to know what you suggest as far as follow up with them.
All right. So this is how you always judge how fast you go into it, which is a part of what we're discussing today. Has the last contact with them been less than 90 days or more than 90 days? If it's been less than 90 days and you feel you really have a relationship with them, then ask them. Go ahead and, I don't know if I've ever asked you this question, but what are your health goals? Right? Again, keep it friendly, not business,
What
right?
if it's been 2 days?
So your last connection with them was 2 days. One question we did not talk about was your health goals. What exactly are you wanting to gain from being a part of this group or using this product? And that's perfectly fine because that's a brand new relationship and you're coaching them. So that is not exactly what this program is about. That's you coaching them, right? That's you staying on top of making sure they have a really great experience. If it's been more than 90 days, then you have to rebuild the relationship. And that's when you just come in really light and easy and, hi, how are you? You got to rebuild. You have to rebuild their trust. But if it's been 2 days and you're either just getting to know them or you have a relationship or they just purchased from you, they already have that trust. You don't have to build that trust because they already have that trust with you.
And these are brand new leads.
Okay.
Brand new leads. So
Fantastic.
you haven't built any trust, really.
Oh, okay.
Unless
But
they're a friend of
they
mine.
came to you specifically for your solutions. They purchased into what you already have, correct?
No, they haven't purchased anything.
Oh, they're strictly just leads.
Brand new. Mhm.
Brand new. They don't know anything. Okay. All right. So you do want to definitely build that like, no, trust, respect situation and ask them, tell them just a little. Oh, actually, you know what? Jim has the script and that's going to be right here. Okay. So hold on. It is here we go. Do some kind of fact, a testimonial, and then a question. So give them some kind of fact like, I'm so glad you're here. A lot of the people in this group have really increased their health by being a part of this page. In fact, I have your story real fast, and we're going to be talking about your testimony and so on. And then you can ask them, would you like some more information about what this group offers? Would you like some more information about what our nutrition products offer? Would you like a sample, right? So we're going to be going over that in depth tonight because that's the major part of what we're doing. So just follow that outline, which is give them a fact,
Okay.
a testimonial, and a sample. And guys, this is all very short. You need to be very, very short with your responses. Keep in mind that everyone is busy, whether you're establishing the relationship or you're building the relationship. They're busy, you're trying to do this in massive numbers. They have limited in time. If you give them a really long paragraph, they're just probably not going to read it, or they're going to skim it and skip over. That's not how you're going to get your trust with them. Everything has to be like 1 to 4 sentences at the most.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Great. I think Les had a question, and then we're going to go into the training. How many message exchanges typically before you bring up product solutions? So this is tonight. And hi, Sherry. I like that guy behind you in the picture.
Jesus? He's
Nice.
he's joining our Zoom call tonight.
Yay. Well, you know, we always have to bring that in and make sure he's a part of everything. Thank you, Jared. Okay, so if you guys want to talk a little bit more about Graph Search, we certainly can. Graph Search is the most important, though. Please know that. So if you ever get stuck and you're not able to find new people or find a way to reach out to new people, please bring that up, because our whole basis of what we do is always speaking to new people. Everything will fall into place as long as we continue to do that. All right, so questions for this section is, number one, how do I contact my existing friends? Number two, how do I tell my friends about my business? So you guys are really asking about number two. And everything is done in Facebook Messenger, all right? We all understand that, right? We're not doing anything on our wall about this, and this is not in the group, and this is not through text messages. This is through private messages. Fastest way from your laptop. I don't know if we need to go into all of these details. I was just taking a lot of this off of just, but just to make sure, can you guys all see the screen? Get rid of all that. Okay. Quickest way, of course, is to go up to your friends list. I think we talked about this last time, and you can print out your friends list. Go to friends, you can print them out, or you can actually, if you leave your screen up, right, you can bounce back and forth between your timeline and friends, but if you leave your screen up and you don't get out of this section, even though you get out of it, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So you can bounce back. I'll show you. Okay, so right now I'm on Linda. Well, I'm on Annie. And then you can bounce back and forth. I need to play with this one a little bit more, but you can bounce back. And basically, you're just going directly over to them and sending them a message. You go to April, you go over here, and you send them a quick message. These are for people you're already friends with. This is not for new people. Okay, so that's
Steph, excuse me, how do you print your friends list?
I wrote that down because I have not printed them out yet. I know Larry has. So let's see, give me 1 second. Let me look at my notes. Go ahead, you know, Stephanie?
Yeah, you go up into your settings, and at the bottom, if you can go there, and then at the bottom of settings is a download, see about in the middle of the page, download a copy of your Facebook data. Do you see that?
Got it, yep.
Okay. Right a little bit, Stephanie?
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and then start my archive, and then it can take anywhere from 6 to 12 hours, and Facebook will email it to you. And then once they email it to you, you have every photo, every message you've ever sent to anybody. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal and robust what you can do with it. And I actually copy pasted my friend list into an Excel spreadsheet. So I could, you know, I haven't printed it. I'm going to keep things digitally. So.
Perfect. And then that way.
The question?
Yep. Right. Is that correct, Les? Did you get that?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Cool. Okay. So that way it's really super easy to keep track of everybody. Or you can just do it directly there. I have been doing it directly from my friends list, but you do kind of have to have a good memory. The great thing is that as you go down people, you can easily just go right into their message and see if you sent them a message.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I love about Facebook Messenger is everything is recorded. You don't have to go back and look at stuff like emails and text message. It's really easy to find them right there.
And then because you're right there, you can add them to your list, right. On friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you also have these lists. So let's just say I want to only do my high school. And Les and I both went to high school together. So the question is who's going to speak to them first? But you have your high school, college, work. If you had enough people from your work in there, you can just go through all of these different areas that you've had different people mark and go bam, 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 bam. So it's really easy to stay organized. And then, of course, you guys know that the people that are at the top of your list are the ones that you have the most contact with. And as you dive down, these are the people that aren't paying as much attention to your posts, and you're not paying as much attention to them. So they're the ones that you're going to be building that relationship with again, somewhere down here or wherever that is for you.
Stephanie, are those in the same order every day, or does it
They
depend?
shuffle.
They do, right? That's what I thought. Yeah.
They shuffle based on activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why you can't really count on doing this digitally unless you leave it up. You can't count on it because it will move around.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do you say is the question. All right, so I'm going to be going through my notes, but stop if you have any questions. And I don't think we really need to be in Facebook at this moment, so I'm going to go back here. All right, so if it's been longer than 90 days, it's rebuild. And the way that I'm going to go back. The way that you're going to find out if it has been, I don't want you to think about it because, for one, thinking about things takes too long. Let me kind of go down here a little bit. We'll just go to CC. I know that's been a while. Okay, so you can just go right into the message and you look up to see when was the last conversation I've had with her or with whoever it is. Don't guess, just automatically look. Right? It's all scheduled. So, and I wouldn't count my message to them if they didn't respond. I'm looking for when they last responded to me. Because we can send stuff to people all day long and that's not considered a relationship. All right. So if you want to send a message to someone, and we can type this up, and guys, let's be really good at sending out our scripts because that's the biggest question of what do I say? And especially those that are going well, definitely send those messages out to our group so that we can help each other. But this one to rebuild is, hey, and their name, of course. It's been a few months since we last talked. How are you? I just wanted to say hi. Really, truly, that's it. You can make it a little bit more personal if you want. Maybe reference something from their posts, but you want to keep it generic. So what Jim states in his training is that he's done both. He experimented with very, very generic and much more personal. He said the results were exactly the same. So in order to do it quick, go, 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 go. Now, if it's less than 90 days and you have a relationship with them, this is how you can bring the business in. You want to reference something. So you need to pay attention to people, and this is when you're liking and commenting on their posts. Maybe give yourself a little note or a reminder somewhere. But if you know that they made a comment about needing extra money, or maybe they were talking about, I think we're all in the health field for the most part. Jerry's in travel, but they mentioned something that you have a solution for. So we'll just go the money route. You can send them a message if they wanted to make money. Hi, how are you? I remember a month ago, you posted or you talked about needing to buy a new car. I don't know if you remember that post, but I do. I found a way for you to do that and wanted to find out if you would like more information on how to do this. Or exactly what my notes say, so I ad-libbed just a little bit. My notes were, I remember a month ago you talked about wanting to purchase a new car. I don't know if you remember, but I do. I found a way for you to do that. Would you like to know more? So what Jim says is a small percentage are actually going to come back and say yes, right? But what you're doing is starting a conversation. So overall, again, no intention of, hey, that person said that they want to make money. I'm going to bring them into our business and help them make money. can't have that expectation. We need to go in at it as we just really truly want to have a conversation with them. If they do want to make money, double, triple bonus. But go in there with the art of having a conversation. Now, if you were trying to do something for your product, you can say, hello, how are you? I remember last month you were trying to lose weight for a specific event. Did you achieve your goal? I have something that could help. By the way, I have something that can help do this all the time if you want, so you never have to cram it in at the last minute. I can send you some information. Would you like some? Okay, any questions about these scripts so far? And I'll type them up. But any questions yet? Okay, you're just referencing something that they have mentioned. And this isn't any new information for us, right, guys? We know that we should be doing this, but this should be a reminder to us to always do that. And even if we're not, we don't have to do it right away. We can come back and revisit because we're starting a conversation with them. So here's where the script comes in as well for samples. Now, how many of you, and I can't see all of you, but either type yes or raise your hand, how many of you give away samples? Okay, so Sherry, Heather, I do. I just gave away some tonight. Stephanie, you do not. Jerry does not. Les, do you give away samples? You can just type it in if you want. Okay.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Okay. No problem. So there's different ways you guys can handle this. So either take my sample conversation and use it for a sample, or can I send a video, or can I invite you to something? So whatever direction you want to go with people, go ahead and just implement whatever you typically do. But I'm going to do the sample just to kind of open up your mind, maybe possibly to samples. And I am horrible at sending out samples. If I see you and we're in person together, then I'm more than happy to give out samples. But to mail samples to people is not something I do well at. But I will tell you that when we did this the first time around, we had people sending out samples left and right, and they were enrolling. And Heather was one of them. Fiona was another one. But you have to qualify them. It's not just to send out a sample. So I want to really go over this in detail. But again, if you don't want to send out samples, that's obviously a preference, and you certainly don't have to. But to do that statement, you want to give a product fact, a testimonial, and then ask if they want to try a sample. So, hi, Lucy. I wanted to know if you would like to try a new sample of something I'm using. I have released let's say 5 inches off my waist. It's a full system. I feel great. And I thought I would share this with you as it's something that has worked really well for me. Would you like to try a sample? You guys want me to read that again, or we can just try to type all of these up? Okay, you're good with that? All right, cool. I'm going to move on. But we have to be realistic. With your testimony, we want to either, if you've had some incredible testimonies, tone it down. Or if you have a very easy testimony, just go ahead and state that. But that needs to be very short and very to the point, but also relatable to them. And people obviously relate extremely well to weight loss. Sometimes people relate to inches. They may not understand inches quite as much. I'm trying to think of all of your businesses. Jerry can talk about a trip that he just took recently, or maybe something that he helped another client with. But something that, I'm trying to remember the example, but let's just say energy, everybody can relate to energy of, if you're low on energy, this is something that has really stopped me from napping every afternoon, and now I'm playing with the kids every day. So do something that's really relatable. Oh, someone said something like, I now have abs, right? And not everyone's going to be like, I'm looking for flat abs. That's not something they're looking for. But if you change it to something like, I have really flattened my tummy, or you can see my muscle tone, people understand that. So make sure your message is very, very general, even though it's your testimony. 2 sentences, 1 to 2 sentences, nothing more than that. You can customize, obviously. So I want to share a product with you. As you know, I work really hard to have a very healthy lifestyle. By the way, I want to let you know about a new product that a lot of athletes are using. Would you like to check it out? So the athletes are the fact, right? I didn't have to go into detail about a huge fact, but just by stating athletes are using this is the fact. So people want to be able to relate to it of, oh, cool, athletes like it. Now, you don't want to share that with someone who's not athletic whatsoever and extremely sedentary. You've got to kind of watch who they are and personalize it a little bit for them. So here's another one. As you know, I'm really into living a very healthy life. I have found a product line that athletes use. Would you like to try a sample? And so you're just really getting this out there to anyone and everyone, and whoever says yes, says yes. Now, here's where the organization and the qualifying and everything comes into play. So you send this out to 20, 30 people every day. You find out who has an interest. The first thing you want to do is go into your organization, and are you guys all comfortable with how to organize people? So let's see, I'm going to get away. So you guys, you go into your friends, go to add to another list. And this is the different types of organization lists that Jim recommends are samples, rebuild relationship, did not respond, prospects, customers, distributors. So you want to be able to move them from each one of those lists, hopefully until you get to distributor or customer, right? But wherever they land, that's up to them. The key, of course, is to filling our funnel so that as soon as they have a need for your services, you reach out to them or they reach out to you and you make it happen. So if you're going sample or event or video, right? Those could all be lists. Whatever you're going, whatever action you take with them, that's what you want to state in your list. And as soon as you do that, so I'm going to send Cheryl a video. Would you like to see a video? So I'm going to give her my product fact, my testimonial. Would you like to see a video? And as soon as she says yes, I'm not sending it right away. As soon as she says yes, then I'm going to move her into the video list. Right? And so then you...
So Stephanie, hold on. When you say move, you just mean you're going to unselect the list she's in and check mark a different, because it sounds like you're actually somehow...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see. So I have samples. So you don't have to take them off the other ones. So like Annie, I've gotten a couple different lists. I don't have to take her off of them because you can have multiple lists for people. But let's say I send her a sample. I click that. Now, let's say she never responded to, I sent her a sample, and we have a 3-week period of how we're going to work through that. But let's say she didn't respond to the sample. I'm going to unclick sample and then put her in the did not respond. Okay, and then you guys remember last week where we can actually print out all of our lists. You guys remember that? So we can go into all of our samples, and everyone that we send a sample to is going to pop up. Do you guys all remember how to get there?
How to print it out?
You can either print it out or just go to it.
I'd like to see that again, because when I pull up my list to see who's actually in each list, other than the news feed, it's not populating anymore.
Okay. Okay. You know, hold on. This is the one area that I'm always like, where is it? Okay, here we go. So you go to home, friend list,
Yeah.
and let's just go to prospects. Okay, so they don't have that list anymore. Well, I only have one person on that list, so let's not do that list.
But see, it's not, so for example, can you go back there? Let me show you something to see if you get a different result.
Okay.
Please. So if you click on manage list over on the right.
Yep.
Yeah, and then click on edit list. It used to then populate with all the people who are on that list, but I know you probably have more people than that, right? I know I have way more people.
Now, not for that one. So that's what I want to go to, one that's going to have a ton of people. Let's do,
Because mine's not populating with all the people that I know I have in that list.
okay. So I just made up my week 1 list, and here I've got 165. So there's all my people.
Oh, okay. So this is really weird, because I just went to check my Europe list, because I've been adding a ton of people to that, obviously, and it's just not. Might be a browser issue. Okay, that's great. That's great to see.
Try it again. Try it again. So you're going to have them come up right here. So if you're just wanting to like and comment on their post, they're right there.
Or I'm getting, yeah.
Yeah, or to actually get an entire list of them, you've got it right there. So I think there's a couple ways you can get to them so that it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
One would be that see all, or you just click on their picture, click on message, and then if you need to change them, you just have to get somehow to that friend section, and then you can change them to the next list.
Cool.
Is everybody good with that? Okay. All right, great.
Okay, so you go to the right-hand side to get your lists.
Yep. So you
Manage
can go to manage lists
list.
and edit,
All right.
or see all, same thing. It's just different ways of doing it. Or their pictures are right there, but you're only going to get a limited picture right there.
Oh, and you can add people quickly there. That's awesome.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, all these great things. So if you guys didn't understand that, just in case you can't see the screen, there's a plus sign that says add friends to this list. So if you know people need to be on that list and they're not, just type in their names. So let's just, right? Just type it in and bam.
How cool is that? Because then all the people in your week 1 list, they're showing up on your feed there, and then you can comment on all of their posts.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm just going to check something. Oh, no. Okay. I was just going to see can we move them to week 2 right there? But no, you cannot.
Well, if you rename the list, but then that moves everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I thought there might be a fast and easy way to do that. Okay. So for the different
Hey,
people,
Stephanie,
sure.
what do you use your week 2 and week 3 lists for? 'Cause you had us put the Love Note people in week 1.
Now, like I said last week, Jim responded that what I was teaching and doing myself, which I'm not staying on track of. So I'm kind of looking at it like week 1 is 1 to 2 weeks. Week 2 is 1 to 2 weeks. Week 3. So it's just kind of my list, but it may not fall exactly on February 1st, February 7th, February 14th, right? May not follow that exact order, because he said that's a little aggressive, and I'm finding time-wise I'm having a little difficulty following every single week. But to keep myself organized, week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 1 is the message, the love note. Week 2 is making them feel my care and concern, and so that's just liking and posting on their comments. Now this is week 3. This is reaching out to them and getting very specific on Would you like to try a sample? Would you like to see a video? But we do a product fact, a testimonial, and then that. So now we're getting more into that business relationship. And then week 4, or you can just add them to the Facebook group, right? But you're asking for some kind of activity. For me, week 3 is inviting them into the Facebook group if they're not already there. If they're already there, re-inviting them. And then week 4 is actually going to be the sample, the video, getting very specific on where can we take our business relationship at this point. So thank you for that. All right. Go ahead.
Sorry to digress. Okay, so I archived the people that I messaged last week, but I have not added them to a list. I'm sure that's super easy, right?
Yeah, you just need to go into your instant messages.
Yeah.
See all in Messenger. Go up to the spin wheel. Go to your archive threads. And then one by one, you'll click on them, click on message, and add them to your list.
You have to do one by one. Okay.
Yeah, there's no, that's the fastest way that I'm aware of.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Let's get back on to one of these. All right. So did not respond. Everyone that you message, we're doing week 1, week 2, week 3. So this is a little bit different than Jim's trainings, but I want to kind of give you both aspects. So just keep that in mind. So when we talk about week 1, that's kind of his response to did not respond. So if it gets confusing, just stop me, but kind of correlate them in that regards. So he's saying anyone that does not everyone goes into did not respond until they respond. And then that way you can go into your did not respond list and follow up with them. I'm looking at my week 1 as all did not respond. And then once they respond, then we can start moving them into different places. So whatever works for you, know that some of this is going to be customized to how it works best for you. Prospect.
Sorry, Stephanie, did you say how long before they go into the did not respond?
Well, until they respond.
Okay, but sorry, how soon, I should say. How long do you give them to respond?
Immediately, everyone can go into the did not respond. So you're either going to do week 1, week 2, week 3, or you're going to do the did not respond. So separate the two, decide which direction of organization you want. But everyone, according to the did not respond, everyone goes in there immediately until they respond.
So may I ask a question? So let's say I start this week. So I'm going to have, say, 50 people in week 1. Next week, those 50 people get re-tagged as week 2. Mm-hmm. And then my week 1 will be a whole fresh list of that week.
Exactly.
So there's never an overlap there.
Exactly. You may have some overlaps, just kind of depending on how good you are doing this. And the great thing is by doing this program, none of these people know what we're doing. So if we get off track at all, they don't know. That's just a matter of us getting right back on track.
So I have an opinion thing for you that I've been, did you get the answer on, is it true that it's better if we have fewer, like our friend list is lowered? Because there's a social media trainer who said that he deleted about 1,000 people from his Facebook friends list, and his interactions and his Facebook posts just went through the roof because more people were seeing them. Is that true?
I don't know that for a fact, but I would agree that it probably would. Because there's just, you have less people, more interaction happening.
Yeah.
Kind of like you're spreading yourself out in a really thin direction. I know Jim does not like to have large numbers of people. He likes to keep his numbers closer to like right around 2,500.
Okay, so I'm going to really work on deleting because, for example, I've been sending those cute little silly birthday video messages, and if someone sees that and doesn't respond, it's like, really? Okay, bye.
Right. Right.
I just put myself out there with bunny ears to wish you a freaking happy birthday, and you can't even do this.
I know. Well, and that's the thing, and that's what we're doing is, we're building relationships, but if they don't take the time to rebuild it with us, why are we spending the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go right ahead. I mean, go do as much as you can that you feel comfortable deleting them at that point, right? But do a couple things, like and comment, maybe help them feel a little bit loved. And if you've got nothing after week 3, then yeah, they should be out because they're not going to respond to you. Why would they respond to you later if they're not now?
I have tons of people on my list, so I don't even have a clue who they are. I just don't. I don't know who they are. We've had no interactions. Their Facebook page is nothing but shares or, games or whatever. So why?
Right, exactly.
Thank
So with Jim's training on the did not respond, the prospects, customers, distributors, when they respond, whether they say yes or no, you move them into the prospect list because they took the time to respond. And so that's how you have to look at it. I don't care how they respond, as long as they said something, now they're a prospect because now we can have a conversation of any kind. Everybody good with that? Cool. All right. So if they do say no, they don't have an interest in your video, your Facebook group, your samples, whatever direction you're going, just say, thank you so much. I'll see you around Facebook. I'm glad we're friends on Facebook, right? You don't want to lose the relationship just because they don't have an interest at this point, because maybe they will later. And because you handled it well and you continue to be friends with them, they'll come back to you when they have a need for your services. So just thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing more of your posts on Facebook. But in the way you're running your business, they don't get top priority at this point. So if they say yes, they want something, they want a video, they want to be in your Facebook group, they want a sample, then you give them the information like you normally would. You go through that process. If you're adding them to the Facebook group, say, fantastic, I'll add you to our group. That way you can see how others respond to this and how they love it. And take a look at it. Let me know tonight what resonates with you, and I'll send you the sample. This is if you're sending a sample. So if you're actually putting money into it, you want to qualify them. If you're not putting money into it and you're just adding them to the Facebook group or inviting them to the event, you don't have to be so on top of them, but you do need to follow up and within that 24, 48 hours, because otherwise you're just adding them to the group and then you never speak to them again. So I'm going to read that over again. So this is again samples. And the reason why Jim has really experimented with the conversion rate, where when he was just sending out samples, he would get 1 out of 15 people to actually become a customer. When he started to qualify them, it started to go 1 out of 5 people would become a customer. And the reason for that is because the 10 that really truly didn't have an interest just didn't respond, so he never had to send out that sample. Now, if you're sending out $1, I like to send out Hydrate or Ionix. If you're sending out $1 sample, that's an extra $10 every time to get 1 customer. So it really reduces when you have to qualify them. And when we did this before, we really experimented with that, not on purpose. It just kind of happened. And those that qualified had a lot more customers and enrollees. And those that were just sending out samples and not qualifying them were spending a ton of money just sending out samples. So it's a really good to qualify them and go through that. I'll read it again. So fantastic, I'll add you to our group. That way you can see how others respond and how they feel about the product. Once you take a look at it tonight, let me know what resonates with you and I'll send out that sample. All right, so this is next is what happens with the sample or if they don't respond to you. So I'd love to send you a sample after you check out the group. That's just another way of saying it. So you follow up within about the time period that it would take for you to get the sample. So if that's 5 days, you follow up in 5 days. If you're just sending a video, follow up within the day. If you're inviting them, again, follow up in the day. Use your time frame to decide when they would actually receive the information you're sending them. So if they don't respond after you send them that situation, archive them, and maybe you can come back to them later. Week 1 though, I'm so happy if they responded to you, and yeah, I love the group. I think the group is fantastic. Thank you so much. So then you're like, I'm so happy. Or we've already added you to the group. I'd love to send you the sample. Please get back to me when you receive it, and we'll discuss how to take that. So you're putting it in their court about getting back to you, but we all know they probably won't. So you need to schedule your follow-up as to when to get back to them. All right, so let me read through some of these. Week 2. So week 2, after you send out your information or sample and you haven't heard from them, hi, it's been a week since I've added you to the group. Please let me, or I'm sorry, I gotta go back. Sorry guys, this is a little new information for me. But this is if you added them to the group, but you haven't sent them a sample yet. So week 2, hi, it's been a week since I've added you to the group. Please let me know if you like the group and I'll send you a sample as soon as possible. Week 3, if they haven't responded to you, a few weeks ago you told me you were interested in trying a sample. I added you to our group. Unfortunately, I haven't heard back from you. You must be really busy. I want to respect you, your time, and our friendship. If you're not interested, please let me know and I'll remove you. I so appreciate your friendship, and I look forward to seeing you more on Facebook. Right? If they're never going to respond to you, you can leave them in the group unless they tell you to take them out, because there's no reason not to have them in the group. Hopefully, at some point, they're very interested in what you have to offer. But stop trying to follow up with them. So he just does week 1, week 2, week 3, and if there's no response during that time frame, you archive it and you're done with them. Questions about that?
You know, this could actually be a really good, if we adapt it to people that, I've had some people in the group for just forever, and we did the initial follow-up, the initial 3-way chat and whatever, and then they just kind of get left in the group. This could be a really good reach out as well, and just saying, hey, you've been in the group for quite some time now and haven't made the decision to join yet. And then go into this script and maybe do, like, I haven't sampled, but I'm not opposed to it for sure. So offer to send them a sample if they let me know how they like the group. Now, if they haven't been in the group, they're likely going to go in there and look around.
Right.
Right?
Right. Hopefully, but you know, there are so many people who say, sure, I'll take a sample, and then, or sure, you can add me to the group, and then they never even look. Sure. I noticed when I was going back and sending out those love notes to the people in the group, some of them were brand new and they were way down at the bottom of the group. So like they've never even checked it out, but they were responding to me. So who knows? But yes, Stephanie, I think it's such a great script to just find out, what are your interests? Are you paying any attention? What can we do to get you involved? All right, so this is if they say yes to the sample. Number 1, send them the sample. Number 2, move them to the sample list. Number 3, follow up, and 3 times following up. If they don't respond within 3 times, then of course you're done. So the first week, give them that time to receive the sample. The next one is 1 week later. It's been a week. Well, hi, how are you doing? It's been a week. How are you enjoying the sample, whatever you sent them? What's the number 1 thing you liked the most about the sample? Or what's the number 1 thing you felt after taking the sample? Right? And if they respond, No of any kind. No, I haven't taken it. No, I didn't feel anything. No, I'm not interested. Just again, right back. Okay, thank you. I look forward to seeing you more on Facebook. But if they say yes, and remember, you're private messaging them. You're going back and forth with each other. So if they say yes, they've taken the sample, they liked it, that's when you immediately pick up the phone or call in Facebook Messenger, preferably Facebook Messenger, and give them a call and just say, hey, let's jump on the phone and go over any questions that you might have. And that's your opportunity to bridge that close situation. But as soon as they open that door of, yes, I liked the sample, great, let's jump on the phone real fast. Or if you're back and forth and you're ping-ponging immediately, do the Facebook Messenger because they're there right at that moment and there's no excuse. Questions about any of that?
Are you going to write out all these steps? I'm not taking enough notes fast enough.
I know, it's hard. I won't be able to type up all of this, but I'll try to type up a decent amount of the scripts. But all of this is in course 4.
Oh, okay.
And when you go through course 4, he's got all the scripts, he's got all the organizations. Some is going to be on video, some will be showing you Facebook, and some will be text. So you do have all of this information, but I definitely want to type up the scripts for you. All right, so before, I'm reading my notes. All right, so before you sign up, so this is always bridging the gap of when exactly do we bring in the business part of it, right? If they're a customer and they just have an interest in the product, when do we bridge that gap of bringing up the business? And in Jim's opinion, as well as so many others, it's immediate. Bring it up immediately. But this is what you say. Before you sign up, would you have any interest in referring your friends and getting your products paid for? And just asking them that question. But what's different than what I've heard in the past is actually stating, before you sign up, would you have any interest in referring your friends and getting your products paid for? Not after. So I thought that was, I liked that turn in the events. He said, explain the business in 20 seconds. Real short, real fast. You guys, we all have our own program and how that works, but it can really be summed up in 20 seconds. All right, and we are almost finished with this course, but he did say samples get the best results. We talked a lot about it and how to actually do the samples, and what we discussed is to just get a regular white business envelope, put your sample in it, no information, no flyers or anything like that, no materials, no note, unless you want to do a quick little note, and send that out. And there are a couple reasons for that. One, if you do a nice big envelope, you're going to be spending a lot more money. And we're trying to keep our costs down and do this in mass numbers. Number 2, and that kind of relates to the materials. Number 2, if you put a material in it, again, you're creating more of an expense. We're a digital company, we're a digital world. We don't want to have all of this paper floating around. So you can easily follow up with a video or an article or a PDF rather than mailing them a flyer of some sort. If you want to do like a little note, here's the sample I promised you, I think that's great. And just keep it really, really nice and simple. We promised them a sample, send them a sample, right? Don't go crazy with anything else. They didn't ask for anything else. Definitely talk to them privately through private message and Facebook Messenger. Take them down a journey. And you want to, we talked about events. If you're driving people to events and you're really honing in on whether they're sip and samples or hosted parties or any type of event that you're doing, then you do not send them a sample, but instead drive them to come to the event so that they can sample the different products that you're going to offer. And that my friends, is course number 4 of conversation. Questions? It's a lot of information, right? It is. This is where the work really comes in. So you can see the progression of everything, starting the relationship, making them feel great, making them feel special. But week 3 is you need to know, do they have an interest or not? Because if they don't, then you're moving on. But if they do have an interest, this is where the relationship is really going to start to marry. And then we put them in the Facebook group, we send out a sample, we send them a video, we send them the information, we do a phone call. The next week, week 4, which is not our week 4, but like for our phone calls, training calls, but week 4 of this program is now, hopefully they're a customer, a distributor, or you've moved on and they're off the list for whatever reason. And you can always revisit. You just put them in that did not respond, or you archive them. All right, questions, concerns, questions, anything that's going on, or did this all make sense and you're just ready to go?
Percolating.
Does everybody feel comfortable?
I do have a question that I put in the chat that you probably didn't see. Do you know, or is that something you could add to your ask list? Are there any stats as to the effectiveness of text, voice memos, or video messages in Messenger? I know I personally do not like getting voice memos at all, and yet so many leaders in our company, as you know, swear by them. It's like, I don't even like listening to my voice messages on my phone. I certainly don't like listening to voice messages on Facebook, but people say everybody loves them. So I'd love to know if there are any stats on that or if anybody's tested it.
Well, I will definitely ask Jim about that. And the new group that we put together, that's pretty much just us at this moment. We need to add some more people to it, but it's really kind of like a potential as to, you know, what this has to offer, but for a way for us to communicate. So I'm going to put it in there and I'm going to ask Jim's opinion, but I'd love for you guys to state, what do you like?
Well,
I like to get them because I like to be able to speak. I speak better than I type. And Stephanie, if it's out of your comfort zone, do you want to grow past it or not? And either answer is okay. I mean, it's not one answer better than the other. If you do, pursue it. If it's a benefit, pursue it. If it saves you time and brings you closer to where you want to be, pursue it. If the answer to those is no, then don't do it.
Well,
I'd much rather speak than type, which is why I'm speaking up for the first time tonight.
Okay, I'm not sure. What do you mean if it's out of if what's out of my comfort zone? Listening to voice messages?
Listening to and or using them as a means of communication through Messenger.
Oh, I use videos all the time. And I'd say from my personal experience with just the birthday videos, I get a way higher response rate to those than when I sent messages wishing people a birthday.
I agree. That's a much more powerful tool.
Yeah.
But you prefer not to listen to them, but you like to send them? Is that what I'm hearing? Or
Video, I'll watch a quick video because I know it's quick. A video is only, I don't even think it's maybe 30 seconds on Messenger.
You only have up to 60 seconds.
The videos are?
Mm-hmm.
Because I barely get to say happy birthday and da-da-da. Anyway.
Right.
But the voicemail, the voice thing, I don't love. But I'm just wondering, do people like getting
then don't
that?
use it.
I'm okay to use it if people like getting it. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, she's trying to find out what people prefer. I'm with you, Stephanie. I like video and I like text, but I don't like the phone, the recorded message. I really just don't. And then they disappear. So you don't even have a record of it later. Where everything else you're going to have a record. That's my opinion. What else?
I didn't know that. With that information, I wouldn't use it because if you communicate something important verbally and it's recorded, then you go back in a day or a week or a month, you don't know what was. Thank you, Stephanie. I didn't know that. I would not use it. There's no upside.
I think it's on text voicemail, text that they disappear, not on Facebook, because I've listened to some from a while back. Are you sure?
Let's look, because I just had a guy doing it with me like all day yesterday.
Okay.
And definitely on text. Text definitely disappears. Let's see. Oh, no, it is there. But
Yeah.
see, for me, that's time wasted, in my opinion.
I agree.
I'm going to be very blunt. That's frustrating for me. That's like, which he does send me super, super long messages. Well, not here. But sometimes he sends me very, very long text messages, and I don't read those either because I don't have that time. But what do we have? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There's 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to it. You have to listen to the whole thing. You can't skim it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like it.
Same. Okay.
Anyone else have another
point
opinion?
taken, Stephanie. I'm being a guy, go in, say what you got to say, boom, get out. But if
Yes.
you got somebody a little long-winded, on target.
Yes, you'll know. My people that send me super long messages very rarely get much of a response.
Well, I guess I've had a few people that say thank you so much for your voice message, but maybe this is an area where I need to take a look at, because I tend to send out voice messages because for me it's quicker than typing, because I can just give them a lot of information. But I don't know, because then if you give them too much information, you might lose them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
or you can also put a, by the way, if you'd rather get a typed message, let me know and I won't send you a voice message. Put it back on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or they could be in a place where they can't hear it. I've had that
Good point.
before too.
Yeah. So I'm really curious. I've got a couple different groups I can put this out to. So I'm going to put it out in our very small group and just get Jim's opinion, but I'm going to put it out into a much larger group and see how they all respond as to what they like. But yeah, I like that. I agree with you, Sherry. It's a lot easier for you to leave that message, but you got to think about them on the other side.
Absolutely.
And yeah, for me, listening to them is hard.
You know, if you're just giving them a lot of information, then there won't be any purpose to have that phone connection.
Right.
You know? So
Right, exactly.
something to think
Or
about.
you don't know what's going on with them either. So, you know, you could have like 5 kids in the car and they're trying to listen to this message because they thought they had time. And then all of a sudden, all these kids are going crazy, or the doorbell rings, the dogs are going crazy, and they didn't get to listen to your message anyways. And then they can't read it and go back. They have to listen to the whole message again. So you're kind of forcing them to do something that they may or may not want to do. That's kind of my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
Something to think about.
Yeah, but let's put that out there. All right, good. Other questions, other concerns, or anything?
So the videos I just looked at a birthday one I sent. They're about 11, 12 seconds. That's it. That's all you get.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Which is great because you have to be to the point.
Now, that's interesting because I have left messages and it always has said under 60 seconds.
That's the voice one, but the video one. Send me one and try it like when we're done.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
So will you give a sample of some of the scripts that you mentioned here tonight?
Yep, I may not type them up tonight, but before Friday, I'll have them typed up.
Okay. Because I wasn't able to get all of those notes.
Tomorrow's a very, very crazy day.
So this is week 3 that we're talking about. Week 1 is messaging the love notes. Week 2 is liking and commenting. And week 3 is what we've talked about tonight.
Yeah, some kind of activity, whatever your activity is. And your activity, again, could be just adding them to the Facebook group, sending them a sample, sending them a video, inviting them to an event. Just try to stay consistent with whatever it is direction you're going to go. And if you want to experiment and go different directions, maybe like this week you focus on sending them a video. Next week, with the next set of people, you focus on samples. The next week, inviting them. And kind of find, what direction you're led to. Jim believes in samples. So his program is samples. But everyone's got to find your direction. All right, fabulous. Was tonight helpful?
Always.
Oh, good. Good. Always want to provide value and so that we really can make the best use of all of this and really put it into action. And I found, for me, I needed the group in the group interaction for me to actually do this. I've done it myself a couple times individually, but it was really every time that I've had the group is when I really went into it, because I don't want to be left out. If everyone else is doing it, I have to, right? So to help me out and help the group out, and everyone stay accountable. State your numbers in our new Six Sigma Learning Platform group. State how many messages you're sending out. State some of your groups, but that will keep us all accountable and keep us on track so that we're not left out and everyone else is doing it, because we know you are. That sound good, everybody?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Put them in the group. Ask in general.
Good night, everybody.
We'll meet again next week, and next week is communication.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
Send me a video.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.